Plaintiff Vincent Verdeel says after the defendant answered his ad for a roommate and moved into Vincent's home, Vincent discovered the defendant was a meth addict. Vincent says when he confronted the defendant, he turned over his drugs to Vincent, and he's suing today for rent and utilities. Defendant Rick Citaphone admits that he started using crystal meth at age 13 and became addicted, and says he was clean for 3 years when he relapsed. However, he insists Vincent used meth with him. Rick does not believe he owes rent because Vincent did not give him a 30-day notice.
Tell me what's going on.
Your Honor, I put an ad out, and Rick responded to the ad for room for rent.
When?
Approximately March, April of this year.
This is when he moved in?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Rick turned out to be an awesome roommate, incredible person. Then I found out that he had a meth issue. How'd
you find that out?
There were several times that Rick had come home that you could tell that the slurring and the speech was different and everything.
How did you
and he also
determine
had
it was
lost his
crystal meth?
job.
How did you determine it was that? Oxycontin, heroin, other things called speech slur.
Because I had said to Rick, I said, look, I don't want drugs in the house. And I said, I want whatever you have in that room right now. And I said, and if you don't give it to me, you're going to have to move out right now. And he said, well, the only place I got to go is my car. And I said, well, you know what? If that's what you got to do, you got a choice between living in a house with, utilities, everything, shower, all that stuff, or the drugs. You make your choice. 5 minutes later, he handed it to me.
Okay.
Which was honorable in my opinion. And I think that Rick knows that he wants help.
That is honorable. He gave you something for free. What did you do with it, by the way?
It was destroyed.
All right.
Yeah, I would have brought it here, but TSA issues. You know what I mean?
Go ahead, sir. You want to give me some background?
I was clean from meth for 3 years, and
let's get some timelines. What years were you clean?
Up till 2011.
When were you addicted prior to that? From what year?
Since I was 13.
Pardon?
Since I was 13.
You were 13? How'd you get into crystal meth at age 13?
Hanging around with the wrong people, the wrong crowd,
How old were they?
20s, older people.
Okay.
And
how'd you come off in 08?
I realized I had to get my life in order. And,
all right, it takes more than that, though. That's one of the most addictive drugs that they make.
Family help.
They pin you down, or what do you mean, family help?
Basically.
All right, so you're one of the types that they have on the end of the show, the intervention. Put me in a
chair,
Good. Let me hear from you.
Up to the point before I moved in with Vinny, I was working. I worked in the oil fields. I had my life in order. Everything was going great. As far as me getting back on meth, it wasn't up until I came back from Vegas. I didn't realize that Vinny was using meth too. And I told him like this, Your Honor. I told him like this, Your Honor. I said, I used to have a problem, and he knew I used to have a problem because I told him that before I moved in. And
so he wasn't taking it from you; you were sharing it with him.
Basically, we did both smoke.
Sir?
Your Honor, that's a complete lie. I'm a homeowner. I pay my bills. I take care of my business.
What does that mean?
I'm helping this man out, and he's going to go ahead and try to put something back on me to discredit me. That's
Honor,
ridiculous.
You've never smoked crystal meth?
No, sir.
All right. Give me some specific scenarios where you all
What he
smoke.
was telling you about was true, about him asking me to give up the meth. He wanted me to give him the dope because he thought that I was letting the crystal meth run my life because I didn't go to a job.
Tell me one where you all were getting high together, an incident. Give me that.
I believe it was probably like 2 weeks ago.
Tell me.
We were over there at his house. I brought him like a dub, a 20 sack. And he smoked it, he said it wasn't good, and I left.
You all were sitting where?
In the living room.
Okay. And this was 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago.
Were you living with him still?
No, I moved out. I was living with my friends.
Okay, when you moved out, were you all right with each other?
We were cool since up to the point till I moved out. I mean, till I found out that we were getting sued. We're still cool. We still talk every now and then, but we weren't like before how we used to be before. Like we were close.
You don't sound honest. Go ahead.
Okay.
What you're saying doesn't make sense.
All right.
The man is suing you, and he's gonna sit up there and smoke crystal meth with you. All you want is his money so he can go get his own crystal meth. Go ahead. Sir, tell me about the rent and utilities you're suing him for.
Oh, Your Honor. Oh, my God. By the way, as a matter of fact, 2 weeks
You
ago,
might
he
have
wasn't
a
living
point.
there 3 weeks ago, okay?
You might have a point.
Yeah.
I don't know about this 2 weeks ago, but sir, that was a pretty odd reaction.
A little animated, huh? Yeah, Your Honor. This is the rent receipts.
Go ahead.
This is
First,
the
you
rent
have to tell
receipt.
me the agreement. You can give me
Yeah,
the
the
receipts
agreement
as well.
initially started on 3/11/11.
What was the agreement? The amount?
It was a week-to-week rental agreement for $80 a week plus
Okay.
a $100 deposit. First and last weeks, and that was $260 to move in.
All right.
Okay, and that is here.
All right, and let me see it, please. And so tell me, in terms of the rent, which months he failed to pay.
July, second week to the last week of July is when there was no longer any rent being paid. The utilities were being paid fractionally. And Rick had a situation had ended. I believe that he was going to get unemployment, and I knew it was taking a while. Rick's a great guy. He's an awesome guy. Best person I've ever lived with in 10 years. The problem is that when it came around to the hearing time, when there was no unemployment coming in, I had found out from his hearing papers that he had actually been fired for missing too many days, and there was nothing going to be coming in. I also had an issue going on with identity theft, checks being written against me.
You believe it was him?
You know, I have a keyed mailbox, and the
You
only
believe it was
person that
him?
had access to it was him,
Okay.
other than me.
So he smoked crystal meth in your house, hasn't paid you your rent, stole from you, but he's the best roommate you ever had.
Nicest guy in the world. Nicest guy in the world.
Yeah,
but
you
you know what?
smoking
It's when
crystal
he's
meth
on
too,
that.
so.
It's when that meth stuff's going on.
Sir, tell me about the rent. He
What he
says
says
you owe
true.
him for August, September, and October.
What he said is true. I did because I was waiting on unemployment. I got denied the first time and I appealed it.
So you owe him $900 for rent. What about utilities? Do you owe him anything for that?
I paid some utilities fractionally every
How
now
much
and then.
have you paid?
I don't remember, Your Honor, but every time I got any cash, I'd give it to him.
Why don't you think you should pay him what you owe?
Well, I didn't get a 30-day notice about moving out. You know. He just
Did you
told me-
evict him, sir?
It says right on the rental agreement that if you do not pay your rent, it is agreed as a notice of immediate eviction, and that the room is to be returned in the original condition in which this room was not.
Did you know that before you moved in, sir, and before you signed this?
Yes, I signed it, Your Honor. I read it.
So why are you using that as a defense
Well,
now?
I don't have no other defense.
Just trying to get out of paying it? $1,003. You've proven your case, sir. He has no legal defense. So therefore, you win. Judgment for the plaintiff, $1,003. I am going to order you for drug urinalysis monthly. And if you're found with drugs in your system, I'm going to order you to outpatient treatment, all right? Judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor. I cannot believe that you tried to say that I was a drug addict. But you know what? The best thing that comes out of this is hopefully you're going to get some help, Rick, because you are a great person.
Vinny, you know, at first I told you I was going to bring it up, but I had other. You see how it came out either way.
This is the way that I think
Came
you're
out
on
either
drugs, is when you start talking like this and you start jumbling up and everything. And that's
sure.
why I wanted to, that's why one of the things I wanted with the Judge Mathis show was to get you into rehab or something. I think you're an awesome
Vinny.
person. I ain't got no
Vinny,
problem
Vinny,
with you.
but listen, there's going to be everybody in Bakersfield that knows us is going to be watching this, and they're going to know that you're full of beep. So I'm gonna beep it for y'all, so y'all ain't gotta do it. You know that already.